And I hope I'm in the right spot on Zoom and on TikTok, to be honest with you, because I know I scheduled the live, but I didn't exactly know where it was going. So can you guys in the chat on Zoom, in the chat on YouTube, if you're there, in the chat on TikTok, if you guys can hear me? Hi, Craig. Just give me a thumbs up in the chat. And also show me where you're from. So Cynthia says she can hear me. Give me a thumbs up and tell me where you are from. New York, Crystal. And we're again just admitting people. We've got a couple minutes left before we start. And I am managing 3, so I'm managing comments on YouTube, comments on Zoom, and comments on SoCal, North Carolina, New York, San Francisco, Nashville. Angelica says new something. And Nina is New York. Okay. Nina is from Delaware. Nice to see you guys. I'm also like, I've got more people in the weight room, sorry. Got it. I got those people in Kentucky. Good to see you. At work, has to go on a 911 call. Yeah, take care of people, Craig. Again, just letting people in. If you're on TikTok and you want to share the live with somebody you think might benefit, please share it. We're going to talk all about tonight how we heal insulin resistance. Hi, Cowboy After Dark. How are you? Because I think it's a big topic and I think it's really misunderstood. And there are a lot of people talking about it, but not teaching it in a way that makes sense. And even I did this with my personal group of people not long ago. And one of the problems that we had was that 2 weeks later, someone was like, hey, I'm still struggling with this, even though I said this is going to take 4 to 6 weeks. So I want to make sure we know how to do it. I want to make sure that everyone knows what is happening and how to understand. And so again, if you're like, I want to see the webinar, I want to see the slides, you need to get on the Zoom room. Thank you for the gifts on TikTok. I appreciate it. If you don't care about the slides, there's only 9 of them, just so you know. Like I'm not gonna overwhelm you with data. We're just gonna like talk frankly about what this is and how to do it. If you don't know and you've never met me before, and this is your first time doing anything with me, I swear to you, all of this information is in my first 1,000 posts on TikTok. And this whole program is on TikTok for free. And I literally have 9 people who have used this program without paying me a dime to heal insulin resistance, to heal their high blood pressure, to help with their blood sugar, to help with their weight, to help with all kinds of things. And I'm probably going to get restricted here pretty quickly if I don't stop saying things like heal. So they have done the work, they've put in the work just by listening to those first 1,000 videos and doing the work. And they have literally made themselves well. So it is possible. And again, I'm going to give people just like 2 more minutes to get into the Zoom room because I think it's this, again, important information. There were over 100 people that registered for this webinar, and I am not giving out the replay. So if you're here, be here. Yeah, Michael, if you want to be on the Zoom, you can register at drmarcicm.com under upcoming events. Yeah, they definitely don't. And I definitely get a lot of garbage. And there are comments being filtered. I'm not sure why they're being filtered. I can't see them. So if you're there, I apologize. Welcome, Melissa. Um, Again, you don't have to be on Zoom. It's only 9 slides that we're going to go through. It is not a big deal if you are not here. I just want you to get the information. So if you are keen on listening and you are keen on getting the info by being here, Dr. Ben Bickman's book, Why We Get Sick. It's a great book. There are some others I like. There's one by Dr. Marisol Tihera called Oh Shit. I think people should read it. No joke. The title of the book is Oh Shit, and I think people should read it. There's the author Sayer G, Sayerji. He does a great job at really explaining how we can heal ourselves. And I think that that's also important. I'm going to stop the share for just one more minute to make sure there's no one else in the Zoom room because I don't want anyone to get left out. Oh, Cynthia, I'm glad I can do it. This is just one of those. Sarah Loudermix from Clovis, California. That's my hometown, y'all. And Sarah, I'm going to be there next week. Big swim meet. And David's from Georgia. So literally, I dropped a kid off at swim practice. And came straight here because I didn't have time to go all the way home. And then when I get done with this, I'm literally going to go pick up a kid from swim practice and pick up a different one from lacrosse and get them fed. So I don't usually do these at night because I don't have time. And the other thing, let me see, hold on though. I think I remembered them, but I might have forgot them. The other thing is I don't usually do things at this time of night because on your screens, you should be wearing blue light blocking glasses. And I am clearly, I did bring them. Yay. Okay, so we're talking about saving our bodies from things that we don't need. Now, a lot of people have blue light filters on their glasses. I'm going to tell you that filter from about 2 o'clock to about 6 o'clock should be amber. After 6 p.m., it should be red. I'm going to use the amber ones because otherwise I can't see anything on the screen. It literally blocks out all the blue light. You can also use blue light filters on your screens, which is great. Oh, got a little snag in those. All right, these are all wood frames. So they do have a snag in them. So they're going to yank on my hair a little. Hold on, let me see if I can get these on. All right, and then let's get into these 9 slides. This is super, super, who makes good glasses? The ones that I'm wearing are from a company called Viva Rays. If you want the link from that, I can send those out later. I will also be sending out links for people to order their own blood work. If you are in the state of New York, New Jersey, or Connecticut, we can get your own blood work ordered without your doctor intervening, but we have to go through some extra steps. So I need to send you a different link. So if that's the case, just let me know and we'll get those links appropriately to you. And then no, really, I want to share my screen again. The other thing to know is that when we're going through all of this, Kentucky is perfectly good. I can order anything I want there. This is the same one from today, Celeste. I'm not sure why it says it was canceled. I never canceled it, but I also don't remember scheduling it on TikTok. So that's weird. So I apologize. Someone's asking if the bone conduction earphones bother me. They give me a vestibular migraine. Kathy G. Texas is totally fine. It's just the only states where we have restrictions and we have to go a different route. New York, New Jersey, Rhode Island. So if you're in one of those states, I think I said Connecticut. Michael, you're good. Just stay here. You'll get all the information you need, I promise. However, if you are on TikTok and you're going to want one of the links, you will have to connect with me by signing up for my email list. And when I send you the first text message that says, why did we connect on TikTok? You're going to have to tell me that you want the links from the webinar. So here's the deal. Everything you do has to be focused on healing your cells. Every single thing you do. If we don't start working on healing the cells, we will never heal the metabolism. We will never fix insulin resistance, and we will always be bound to major medical and major pharma. And my goal, honest to goodness, my goal, I'm trying to work myself out of a job. My goal would be that I can help so many people learn to do this, that most people, hey, honey buns, do not need to see a doctor even once a year. They might need to see their doctor once every 5 years. That they understand that the power to heal themselves is within themselves. So let's talk again in a minute about these blue light blocking glasses. Now the amber frames are on here. It's 6 o'clock. I should have a red one on here. And these ones, the reason I like these ones is I can wear them. So the yellow are great for morning. It's just a light tint of amber, but it blocks blue light coming at me from my screens. Amber, midday. And these are pretty strong magnets. Red for end of day. But when I wear these, I can barely see anything on the screen. But this is what I should have on right now if I'm going to be in front of a device. This is particularly helpful as well. If you're going to be changing time zones, you can start adjusting to when your body should be going to sleep by using this. Now, one of the most important things about healing the cell is healing your circadian rhythm. So when we are talking about the cell, we are talking about every single cell, and they are all driven by the sun. Okay. So I just want to start there. If you are not focused on getting morning sunlight when you get up and before 10 a.m., you won't heal your body, period. End of story. If that's not what you want to hear, you're welcome to leave or hang out and hear the rest of what I have to say. Who am I and why am I telling you this, and why do I have the credentials to tell you this? My name that I go by is Dr. Marci Catala-Madruga. I'm a licensed physical therapist with a certificate in functional manual physical therapy. I also have the letters on the screen are just a minimum amount of what I have after my name. So I'm also a certified functional medicine practitioner. And I have taken classes on epigenetics as well and certified in epigenetic health coaching. I'm also a certified corporate wellness coach. I am one of those people who, like, the minute you stop learning about what you're doing, you should get out of what you're doing, because you're no longer benefiting people. So like, if I were to put all of the things after my name that I have a certificate for, it would be, the whole screen would be filled. It's that ridiculous. So let's talk about what we need to do in order to fully heal. I am going to change back to the amber lenses because, like I said, I can't see anything on that screen. So number one, a lot of people were asking this. It is too many letters. A lot of people were asking this on the post about, it's not about the sugar, it's about the cell and its response to insulin, right? So one of the main reasons that the cell breaks down, they can be purchased with subscriptions, Letitia and Dominica. The times for sleep actually vary. So we'll talk about that at the end for sure. So the number one reason why the cell breaks down is because we are fighting against our normal rhythm. The sun should guide everything we do. And if you're on here and you're a nurse who works nights, or you are somebody who stocks shelves at nights, if you are somebody who works a night shift, I'm going to need you specifically to get something like the Mitolux lamp or a happy light and do some intervals of 30-minute focused sunlight exposure, because we need to start restoring your normal rhythm. It controls how cortisol is produced. It controls how melatonin is produced. It controls how insulin is produced in your body and how it's released. And if you can't fix this part, it doesn't matter anything else that we teach you, eventually you will have insulin resistance. We're going to learn about how we can keep fighting or healing. We're going to learn about results you can clearly see. And some of my clients and their results, you're going to see those results on the screen. And then what comes next? So how do you move forward from here? So, that is a messed up slide. I apologize. So you want to stop guessing all this stuff. Stop following everyone on the internet, because everyone's saying something different, even within their own stuff. One of my favorite examples to give is Gary Brecka. At first, he was saying everyone that has an MTHFR mutation is going to have anxiety and depression, and they just need excess B vitamins that are methylated. Well, it turns out when you give somebody excess B vitamins that is a methyl trapper, you can actually create a bigger problem for them. And so that leads to more health issues. So we don't want to just overdose everyone with methylated B vitamins. Bye, Craig. Be safe. We want to make sure that we're helping them. And then you'll see him do another video where he says, I wish I had come up with this, but it's not. It's somebody else's research that literally says if you get 30 grams of protein within the first 30 minutes of waking and go for a 30-minute walk, you will set up yourself for the best metabolism of your life. And then in the next video, he's promoting his product, Perfect Aminos, and he says you can fast through breakfast. It doesn't make sense. And he's doing it for profit. He is not doing it because it's reality. And it pisses me off. So here's the deal. You just heard me say it. One of the master ways to fix yourself: stop skipping breakfast. And if you tell me, but I'm on a thyroid medication and I can't eat in the morning because I have to take my thyroid medication, you can take that thyroid medication at night. There is nothing that says you have to take it in the morning. You're just supposed to take it on an empty stomach, at least 45 minutes away from food. So take it right before you go to bed. So that way you can get up, eat breakfast, and go for a walk within the first hour that you're awake with getting 30 grams of protein. And you can reset your hormones and your metabolism to have the best metabolism of your life. PCB nurse is saying it's hard to get in protein when everything is processed. Example, bacon, sausage, etc. Don't eat those things. Don't eat them. This morning for breakfast, I had 2 ounces of leftover salmon, 3 eggs, 2 artichoke hearts that are marinated in olive oil, 8 sun-dried tomatoes, also marinated in herbs and olive oil, Kalamata olives, and Castelvetrano olives for breakfast with some pistachios. That was my breakfast. You don't have to eat bacon. You don't have to eat sausage, and protein shakes should be limited use. Okay. This next slide, these are just some of my clients and their 6-week results. I'm going to move this one a little bit so that you can see this couple. This is where they started. These are the same exact clothes 6 weeks later. And I know you guys can't see this on TikTok, but the results are pretty drastic. This gal here, Hashimoto's. This gal here, Hashimoto's. She was thrown into a surgical menopause, and she was struggling. She had gained 60 pounds in 4 months, and she wasn't sure she would ever fix it. So this isn't me saying this. These are like real client results from 6 weeks of work, and it's not hard to do. Eggs are okay. They aren't necessary, but they are okay. And for a lot of people with that MTHFR, MTR, MTRR gene mutation, more what you should be focused on is high choline rich foods, and eggs are one of those. So let's talk about the basic cellular metabolism, right? So you have glucose in the blood. We need it to move into the cell. So there's a receptor on the cell that will open when insulin is present, or should open when insulin gets present, right? And it opens this dock that has an enzyme link receptor embedded into the cell membrane, and it binds to the outside portion. And then something else pulls it into the cell, pulls the glucose out of the blood and into the cell. Okay. So that's what happens, right? That's what should happen in a healthy system. And then glycolysis. You'll hear a lot of people talk about glycolysis. What is it? Glucose literally gets chopped in half. That's it. It gets chopped in half so that the two pieces with oxygen, they become pyruvate and can get it across the cell membrane of the mitochondria. Now, I'm going to tell you something right now that a lot of people don't know. Your mitochondria are actually independent bacteria living within you, and they are driven by red light. That's why it is so important to get sunlight before 10 a.m., particularly in your naked eyeballs with no contacts, no glasses on, and on your as much skin as you can tolerate having exposed, but the more the better. Like if you went for a walk in your bikini top, you'd be best off. Men, if you went for a walk with no shirt on, you would be best off. I literally have a client right now who just moved to Arizona. We have had him taking a walk every morning in a pair of swimsuit shorts and no shirt on, and his blood pressure is the lowest he's seen it ever, period. He's getting away with eating more carbs than he typically would and losing fat. We've changed that one thing. He gets up, gets some protein in, goes for a walk. That's it. You want to make sure that the sun is up. So whether that's just barely cresting the horizon or whether that is up. Okay. You want to be able to get earliest morning sunlight in your eyeballs if you can. Like literally, that's the goal. So pyruvate gets into the mitochondria, right? And it kicks off a chain link reactions. The mitochondria take it through what's called the electron transport chain, and it kicks out 36 ATP or 36 energy when it's working efficiently. Now, in people with insulin resistance, I think I just had someone try and enter the Zoom room, sorry, and it is like not letting me. I don't know where it went. Hold on, I'm going to stop sharing for a second. And see who's in the waiting room. Sorry. Okay. We just let somebody else in. I'm going to share again. So it kicks off that chain reaction, and you should get 36 ATP. However, in most people with insulin resistance, we have a stop, right? The stop is the insulin can't get in to produce the energy. And then we have another stop in that people aren't getting sunlight exposure, and the mitochondria literally need sunlight. They need sunlight to do their job. So if we're not getting sunlight early in the day and our cells aren't responding to insulin, then we can't have energy, and therefore we will never have a healthy insulin response. We will likely develop type 2 diabetes, and we will never be the weight that we want. Period. Make sense? So then what happens is there's another pathway, and it's called ketone bodies. And these ketone bodies, like beta hydroxybutyrate, use a different shuttle to enter the cell. So if we're looking at the same thing and we replaced glucose with ketones, we get rid of glycolysis because we don't need it, and we skip right to the mitochondria. So beta hydroxybutyrate enters the cell via the monocarboxylate transport chains, protein binding receptor sites. Like, it's a really long, all you need to know is that ketones don't need insulin to get into the cell, period, right? So if you can get ketones into the cell, they get directly into the mitochondria faster than glucose does. They burn a cleaner energy than glucose does. And they produce total, one ketone body will only end up producing about 31 ATP, but their other constituents that break off end up producing a total of 40 ATP. Okay. So you get more energy and cleaner energy from, and you're getting balloons on Zoom, from a ketone body. If we look at glucose versus ketones, glucose almost always comes from carbohydrates, but it also comes from glycogen stores in the body. Your glycogen stores happen in the liver and they happen in the muscle tissue. And you have about an hour of stored glucose in the body. Once you reach that limit of that hour, then your body has to start using ketones for energy, or it will go through a process called gluconeogenesis. Gluconeogenesis is where your body will take anything it can get its hands on, and turn it into glycogen. So it'll break down your muscle to turn it into glycogen. It'll break down your bone tissue to turn it into glycogen. What it won't do is break down your fat. So you start breaking yourself down instead of burning a cleaner fuel. So again, the entry point into the cell and out of the blood for insulin and GLUT4 for glucose, the MCT channels for ketones, or monocarboxylate transporter chains. Okay. Glucose must go through glycolysis in this intracellular fluid to get into the mitochondria. Ketones enter directly into the mitochondria. They don't need to go through those extra steps. Okay. Here's the thing most people also won't tell you. Here's the thing, and this one's important. Oliver, you're going to get blocked. You are getting blocked officially. Thank you for playing. We're just done with you promoting garbage to my followers. So glucose causes oxidative stress, and it produces a ton of free radicals when it's going through the process of becoming ATP. Ketones produce 2 free radicals and very low oxidative stress. And this is why they also think it's important in treating Alzheimer's, dementia, and cancer. Okay, so glucose creates inflammation in the body, literally at the cellular, at the mitochondrial level. And each one of your cells has anywhere between 5,000 and 600,000 mitochondria. And in the process of glycolysis and producing ATP from one molecule of glucose, you produce 27 free radicals. If you have 5,000 of those at minimum per cell, and up to 600,000 of them in things like the brain tissue, the heart tissue, your ovaries, your testes, and your liver. How much oxidative stress are you creating? How much, and when I say oxidative stress, think about it like this. Oxidative stress is when you cut an avocado or an apple and you leave it sitting on the counter and it starts to turn brown or gray, that's oxidative stress. When the bumper of your car gets a scratch and then every time it rains, it rusts a little, that's oxidative stress. Do you want to be creating that in your body? Right? That's what you have to consider. And you're producing 27 of those per glucose molecule versus producing 2 with 1 ketone molecule. So when we say it burns cleaner, it burns cleaner. It's like the difference between the petrol you put in your car and kerosene. Kerosene burns much cleaner, right? So consider those things. Another thing you need to know is that one of the byproducts of all of the electron transport chain, whether it is from glucose or from ketones, 2 of the byproducts of that combined with protein intake is NADH. So you'll see a lot of people are trying to sell you an NAD supplement. Your NAD naturally made in your body comes from protein. It comes from protein. Okay. Let's talk about why it breaks. Number 1, we talked about it already, poor light management. You're not getting morning or evening sun without lotion on your skin, without sunscreen on, without your sunglasses on, without regular glasses on, without your contacts in, and you're on the screens way too much. Like if you're on a device right now and you don't have the blue light blocking features set up, you are doing damage to your cells. End of story. There's no 2 ways around it. If you don't believe that, go read the research yourself. You can find it everywhere. Blue light was designed, believe it or not, in Las Vegas by casino owners to get them to waste more time, spend and lose more money, and drink more. It got adapted into screens everywhere. And now we are the unhealthiest we have ever been in our lives. 88 million Americans living with diabetes or prediabetes or undiagnosed diabetes that is reversible. Then let's talk about food. We already talked about this too. You can't skip breakfast, and here's why. When you wake up, your cortisol slowly raises and your melatonin lowers. They have an inverse relationship. What should happen to let your cortisol level out and start decreasing throughout the day so that your body can start ramping up melatonin again for sleep is that you should eat and give yourself energy so your body doesn't have to steal it from somewhere else, right? You should, like you've heard this before from a lot of people, you should be eating breakfast like a king or a queen, lunch like someone who's making ends meet, and dinner should be sparse. Emily's asking about some stuff, Greek yogurt, berries, chia seeds for breakfast. Okay. I don't think chia seeds are okay for men. And if you're a woman who has PCOS and you're struggling with insulin resistance, I don't think they're okay for you either because they're throwing your estrogen balance off. I said what I said. That's what it is. So if you want to skip a meal, skip dinner, and don't close the kitchen when everyone in your family is done eating dinner. Literally close it. The kitchen is closed when dinner is done, period. That means no going for a snack. And at that, you're a grown adult. You do not need a snack unless you are underweight. You do not need a snack. And your snacking is perpetuating your insulin resistance. Period. Didn't know that estrogen and PCOS were related. Here's how they're related. cholesterol, DHEA, pregnenolone, progesterone, testosterone, estrogen. That's the cascade. It's testosterone before it ever becomes estrogen, ladies. You produce testosterone every single day and you need it. If you don't have a thyroid and you're just taking Synthroid, you are not getting the right care, period. Somebody is doing you harm. They are not treating you the way that you need to be treated. You should be on a T4 and T3 medication, period. You're pre-diabetic because someone is mismanaging you. End of story. So in the morning, you want that to be your biggest meal. Okay, but again, I take thyroid medication. Take it at night. Start taking it at night. And especially if you're going to fast for 14 to 16 hours and you're skipping dinner anyway, take it at night before you go to bed. You'll be taking it on your empty stomach and you'll do yourself a favor by taking it at night. You're also going to start taking a digestive enzyme. Okay. That digestive enzyme. So if you take your thyroid medication, 45 minutes later, take your digestive enzyme, your stomach will probably be more ready to accept food in the morning. Part of the reason you can't eat in the morning is because you've totally, completely blown up your circadian rhythm. Yeah. To Miranda, somebody is mismanaging you. If you don't have a thyroid and you're only on Synthroid, Yale School of Medicine says that they are mismanaging you. And that level of Synthroid without taking T3 is way too much. And I bet they're not even testing your T3 and they don't even know if you're converting it. Princess Buttercup, I've switched a lot of my clients to this and they're doing great with it. Like amazing with it. Then let's talk about chronic stress, right? It lowers the body's sensitivity to insulin. Literally, your self-induced stress is messing with cortisol, which makes you less sensitive to insulin over time. And here's how it does that. Cortisol gets released and it tells the liver, hey, we're in fight or flight. I need you to release glucagon. Glucagon tells the muscle tissue and itself, the liver, I need you to release sugar into the blood. That tells the pancreas, I need you to release insulin, and you flood the system with insulin constantly. So one of the things that we need to do is say, and I tell people this all the time, believe it or not. Patricia, I would find somebody who's more versed at doing testosterone replacement than me, because one is not good enough. I cannot operate efficiently in your emergency, and your emergency is not currently my priority. My priority is this thing that I have to focus on to get done, to get my work complete on time and turned in. And these are my responsibilities. If you would like my help on this day, I will have time to manage that. And even with your kids, my kid, I walked in the door and he's like, hey, did you see the email from coach? I need to be at this place on this time and da, da, da. And I said, whoa, hold up. Stop. Hello. How was your day? And we had a whole 20-minute conversation about how our days went, the things that we got done, the things that we need to focus on for tomorrow. And then, okay, tell me now about this thing for the swim team for high school season that doesn't even start until February, that I need to know right now, that you think I need to know right now. And he said, well, there's a luncheon on Thursday and it's at the such and such clubhouse and I'd really like to go. And I was like, okay, that's great. I'm working. I know your dad's really busy this week because he's going to be gone next week. So I'm going to need you to ride your bike to that. Can you handle that? And he's like, yeah, I can do that. Great. Takes that off my plate. Right? So learning to manage your yeses and your nos, even with your own family members, even with your spouse, becomes super important. Because if you allow people to create emergencies all day, every day in your life, you will never get a handle on your cortisol and you will never get a handle on your insulin. Okay. And then let's talk about how our society thinks that we need a snack and how you should never skip a meal and how you should be eating 80% of your calories should come from carbohydrates when really you weren't designed to function that way. You weren't designed. I just told you that a ketone burns a cleaner energy and your mitochondria produce 40 ATP from it and less stress. Run a fasting insulin for sure. So you get 4 more energy molecules to do ketones versus glucose, right? Wouldn't you rather have more energy? Period, right? Because that helps you burn more fat. Your body was designed to fast. And again, like I'm going to say this, like, I don't care if you believe in God, Allah, the Torah, like, I don't care what religion it is. Every single religion has fasting in it for a reason. Every religious text, every scientific paper out of the Vatican, they do have an entire, there's pontific science. The reason it's called pontific science is it comes from the Pope. Everything talks about fasting. Now, women, here's where I'm going to say your fasting windows need to be a bit different, right? On most days, you shouldn't fast longer than 14 hours. If you are still cycling, you shouldn't fast longer than 14 hours because it'll spike your cortisol. If you want to challenge yourself with a 72-hour fast and you want to get yourself back into, I have sensitivity to insulin at every cell level, you're going to start by breastfeeding, and fasting is a no. It's a hard no. You are trying to produce calories to feed another human, and they need so many nutrients to grow their brain, to grow their muscles, to grow their bones. And if you deplete yourself, you will deplete that baby. And that's a hard no. So fasting for 14 hours, perfectly okay. Doing a prolonged fast, not okay. So if you're working on a prolonged fast and you are still a regular cycling female, Lisa, women in menopause can get away with a little bit different, but we still want to see what their stress level is first. And Team Miranda, part of that is the insulin resistance, and we want to slowly work up to it. So here's what you're going to do. If you want to get to a 3-day fast, first of all, you need to know what your cycle is. Okay. So if you're on a 24-day cycle, a 28-day cycle, a 35-day cycle, I don't care what it is, you need to know what it is. And you need to know for a normal 28-day cycle, it's days 14, 15, and 16 are the safest to try a long fast. If your cycle is longer, it's probably going to be closer to day 19, 20, and 21. If your cycle is shorter, it's going to be closer to day 10, 11, 12. Okay. So over the next 6 weeks, you want to fix it? Here we go. You ready? This is how you fix it. Take notes. I'm serious about this. Take the notes. For the next 2 weeks, I want you to pick one day, both weeks. So if that's going to be like, okay, I'm going to do this on Saturday because I know I have time and I know I have the wherewithal to do it, I'm going to skip dinner. So I'm going to eat my good breakfast. I'm going to eat my normal lunch and I'm going to skip my dinner. Next week, you're going to do the same thing on the same exact day. Week 3, you are going to skip lunch and dinner. Week 4, you are going to skip lunch and dinner. Week 5, you're going to try and do your 72-hour fast. And week 6, you're going to go back to just skipping dinner. You can fix it in 6 weeks. I'm not kidding. You can literally fix it in 6 weeks. That's because you have insulin resistance. We need to fix it. So, and then here's the other thing. I don't care what else you do, you have to fix the circadian rhythm because sleep is better than any supplement they have on the market. End of story. If you are not going to sleep and you're going to scroll on your phone and doom scroll and endlessly scroll and be on your phone until midnight every night and then tell me I have insulin resistance and I don't know how to fix it, I'm going to tell you, yes, you do, because I've been telling you this answer since 2021 on this app called TikTok, and I'm doing it right here, right now. Right? I just gave you all the information you need to know. You need to get up, get protein in, and get in the sun and walk for 30 minutes. You want to make it even better? Go for a 10-minute walk. Yes, you can still do the same protocol. You want to go for a 10-minute walk after lunch and after dinner. Even if you don't eat dinner, go for a 10-minute walk with your family. Start this now. Implement this now with your kids, because there are more kids than ever developing type 2 diabetes. So, 60% of children are pre-diabetic by age 10. And it's because we hand them a damn device and never make them go outside. We're parenting them through a device. Stop thinking about breakfast like it's breakfast, period. Like, that's the best advice I can give you. Tomorrow, for dinner tonight, I fasted tonight, except that I am having a cheat. I'm having a matcha, although it's still sitting here. It has almond milk in it, so that's why it's a cheat. For breakfast tomorrow, I'll probably end up having, because there won't be enough left, about 3.5 ounces of flank steak that'll have been cooked in salsa. I'll put sun-dried tomatoes on that with a little bit of hot sauce. And then I will have probably at least 1 egg, maybe 2. And then I might have some Parmesan cheese. Like, stop thinking. There was a day last week where I had arugula, basil, a 6.5 ounce burger patty, and Kalamata olives. That was breakfast. Like, stop thinking about it as breakfast food. That's part of the problem. You think, oh, these are breakfast foods. No, it's just food. You just need to eat it. One day last week, I made salmon a few days last week. I had salmon and arugula because I grow it. I grow arugula during the summer. Arugula, and I had basil, fresh basil with that too. And I had, it wasn't eggs. What did I have with that? I can't even remember. But the salmon was the primary thing. So that's the important thing. And the better you sleep, the more normal everything else will become. And it will become more normal because all of your hormones start to balance out when you fix the circadian rhythm. So getting up in the morning. So Emily, your adrenals are not doing what they're supposed to. And you may need to eat more, and there are ways to do that safely. But getting up in the morning and getting sunlight and getting protein and getting moving. Do you know there are studies that the sunlight on its own will lower your blood pressure 10 points? You've got to prioritize what it is that your body needs. And you are literally, every single cell in your body has mitochondria that need sunlight. The way that you get vitamin D from the sun is UV light on the skin, hitting the cholesterol on the skin, in the skin, to make vitamin D3. Vitamin D3 becomes vitamin D2. Vitamin D2 is the master hormone in your body. If you're deficient, you will become insulin resistant. Tons of research on that. That's not just me saying that. That's tons of research saying it. So you see me, like I'm sitting here, I have a tan, I have some spots on my face from when I was pregnant and I would sit out in the sun. All of those things were important to me because I have a tendency to run really low on vitamin D. So I made sure I got in the sun every day. And I didn't care that I ended up with melasma on my face because growing two healthy humans when all of us were struggling already was more important to me. Sunscreen is an absolute no before 10 a.m. Sorry, it's an absolute no. No lotion, period. You should go outside in the morning with no lotion, no contacts, no glasses, no sunglasses, not even a hat. Like you, and if you can be out there in if for guys, no shirt on, girls, a bikini top, go for a walk. No joke. Start doing that. Get your protein, go for your walk. Now, in the winter, that becomes harder, right? So that's where you might need to get the sun didn't cause your cancer, T. Miranda. Unhealthy cells did. So in the winter, there are times where I really recommend that people go do a tanning bed a couple of times a week for 5 minutes. And I got a lot of flack for that. But your cells, every single one has photoreceptors, light receptors on it. You can also buy things like a Happy Light or a Mitolux light that mimic natural sunlight, and you can get those for in-home use or in-office use. The sun, the light is so important to your health. Okay, 2 more slides. So again, you don't need glucose for fuel. And we talked about these 6 weeks, right? So week 1 and week 2, you're going to try and get 75 grams of carbohydrate or less. 75 grams of carbohydrates or less. Week 3 and 4, you're going to get 50 grams of carbohydrates or less. Week 5 and 6, you're going to get 20 grams of carbohydrates or less. No, daylight in the winter still helps. You need it. You need the sunlight. So here's how to figure out if you're underweight or overweight, right? So if you're 5 feet tall, you should be 100 pounds. If you're a female, you should be about 110 to 115 pounds if you're a male. Okay. 75 grams a day or less in the first 2 weeks. If you add 5 pounds for females and 7 to 9 pounds for males, for every inch you are over 5 feet tall. So if you're 5'5" and a female, you'd be 125 pounds. If you're 5'5" and a male, you would be 135 pounds at minimum. Yeah, Emily, just do the 14 hours, but do the 6-week protocol, slowly decreasing your carbohydrates. If you're 5'9", what's 9 times 5? It's 45. So you should be 145 pounds. If you're underweight, you are not doing a prolonged fast. If you are overweight, you can do a prolonged fast. If you are the perfect weight, you're probably going to keep your carbohydrates between 35 and 50. You're not going to drop them all the way to 20. Okay. The morning light. You need the morning light. And you're going to turn off your screen when you would get home from work. So if you look at normal working hours, turn off the screens. The other thing I'm going to tell you is as long as you're keeping your calories up, Emily, yes, it should. Now, the caveat to that is if your milk supply starts to drop, there are foods that you can eat that will increase your milk supply. Asparagus happens to be one of them. And then make sure you're staying plenty hydrated. You were not meant to be tethered to a screen. When you get home from work, turn off the devices. And the weekend that you're doing your 72-hour fast, it is that simple. It literally is that simple. And if you're going to say it's not, I'm not the person for you. No joke. I'm just not. Like, don't, because it's that simple. The week that you're going to do the 72-hour fast, I want you to also fast from your devices. And if you can do that, you will not only fix the insulin problem, but you will fix your dopamine problem that keeps you doom scrolling on all of these devices in the first place. And that's not a joke. And if you could do it not only by completely putting those devices away, turning off the Wi-Fi so that you can't access the internet, you can't watch TV, you can't be on your computer, none of that. If you can do it for your if you can do that for your 72-hour fast, you will fix so much of your health, you'll be shocked, and you'll want to do it again every 6 weeks because it will literally change you. And if you can be silent during it, completely silent, no singing, no humming, no talking to anyone, silent. You can write things down in a journal, but that's it. You will fix so much about your health. You will be surprised. You will come out of that weekend feeling like a different human. And if you do that every 6 weeks for the next year, you will look probably 5 years younger. I'm not joking. Somebody's asking, as a female, when does your cycle start? It is day 1 of your period is the first day. Day 1 of your period is the first day of your cycle. Okay. Whatever you do, do not schedule your 72-hour fast during the week of your cycle. You're already depleted. So Team Miranda, if they did a hysterectomy and they left your ovaries, you can still track your body temperature to track your cycle because you're still having a cycle. It's just not the same as most women. The day that you ovulate would be about day 14. So the day that your body temperature really spikes is going to be the day that you ovulate. That's going to be the day that you should start fasting, basically. So if you notice that your temperature is like slowly going up and then one day it's like higher, yes, it's water and electrolytes. Water and electrolytes. Now, if you're diabetic and you want to do a 72-hour fast, I'm going to tell you that you cannot do it without medical supervision. Okay. And what I would actually recommend that you do is there's a product called Prolon. It's called a fasting mimicking diet. There is a ton of research on this thing. It is a fabulous plan. It actually takes you through 5 days of almost fasting. And I would highly recommend that for anyone. I do have a link for that as well. If you are interested in that, just reach out to me. That program for people who are diabetic and want to do a prolonged fast, super great. I'm Mona Lisa. That also, so Patricia, track your ovulation. That program also works for people with low blood sugar issues. Hi, Travis. Okay, last side. You have the information, take it and run with it. Literally, you can take it and run with it. What I do with my clients, I have them fasting for 14 to 16 hours. Okay. They eat a protein, a vegetable, and a fruit with every meal. Okay. They don't eat any grains. They don't eat any breads. They're not eating any excess fats. If you don't have a gallbladder and you're like, I need to keep my calorie intake up, you are going to want to do the protein, the fruits, and the vegetables with every meal if you don't have a gallbladder. The fasting will get you into ketosis. Now, remember, it takes 6 weeks to get into ketosis. This isn't going to happen overnight. It takes 6 weeks. Okay. So you have that option. Take it and run with it. Option number 2, book a 15-minute call if you think you might be interested in working with me. I do have a 6-week program going on right now that's $500. I have more advanced programs where you'll get a lot more support that they start at $697 a month. I would recommend that anyone who is doing this order something to monitor your glucose and order something to monitor your ketones. Now, you can buy a device that monitors both in one. So you're buying just the strips to monitor glucose and the strips to monitor your ketones. You can order a continuous glucose monitor and document your response to everything. And if you're insulin resistant, that's the route I would go, because you want to like literally track everything you're eating and how your body responds to it, period. And then buy a ketone only monitor. Okay. Blood work. The blood work you have to order if you want to know if you're really making a difference. You want to order your fasting glucose, fasting insulin, leptin, and your A1C. Okay. If your doctor won't order that blood work for you, I have a way to get you a link where you can pay cash for it. It's relatively inexpensive, and you can decide if you want to go on your own and figure it out, or if you want to have a consultation with me and we discuss it and how to fix it. And you have the option, obviously, to decide to work with somebody who knows. Okay. I have been doing this since 2014. I have over 1,000 clients that have fully restored their insulin sensitivity. Over 1,000 clients. Over 1,000 clients that have healed their bodies. There is work to this. You have to put in the work or it does not work. In my links in my bio, there's places to book that free call. There's also places to book the consultation. You are welcome to do that. I am going to stop my sharing on Zoom and I'm going to answer some of these questions that have come through. So let me go back ways here. Okay. Red light therapy glasses, if you want the link to these ones, they can be purchased with a prescription. How do you ensure you have enough ketones so you don't break down muscle? You test, period. You test. And GISA, I have people who like at 3 weeks are struggling with their current doses of medication and need to down them. And at the end of 6 weeks are not using meds anymore. Post-menopausal due to a hysterectomy, do I just pick a time? If you don't have ovaries, yes. If you have ovaries, you want to find out when you're ovulating and then do it based on that. Week 5 and 6. Week 5, you're going to pick 3 days and you are going to fast for those 3 days. And if you really want to do it right, you're going to turn off your Wi-Fi and put away all your devices and just go back to being in the 1980s again. Nina, you're going to start. How do I train my body to fast? Can't go more than 14 hours without starving, feeling weak. You are going to start by decreasing your carbohydrates in week 1 and 2 to no more than 75 grams of carbohydrates. Protein drinks are filled with fake sugars that trick the body. You have to eat breakfast before the walk. Eileen, I don't have a trick for that other than taking a guide with you. So if you have a partner, if you have a kid in the house, take them with you, make them be your guide. At age 65, Angie, you can basically pick a 3-day weekend as long as you're not still ovulating. I would check your cycle just to make sure you're not. The 14-hour fast is recommended every day, believe it or not, every day. 5'6", 117 pounds. not less than 75 grams trying to gain weight. So so Nina, you're a little bit underweight. So you are not fasting longer than 14 hours really until you get to the right body weight. And if we're talking about 130 pounds, take 130 times 0.9. That should be your protein intake. Keep your carbs around 75 if you're trying to restore insulin sensitivity. And then also, you're probably going to need at least 100 grams of fat in a day. And you want those to be healthy fats. So salmon, nuts, clean beef, etc. T. Miranda used to be about 120 pounds. My favorite electrolyte, these are all in my links too, by the way. My favorite electrolyte is actually not one that most people want to drink. And I don't really care. I use the one from doTERRA because it's one of the most complete ones. I have worked with people with G6PD. You also please avoid methylene blue, Takea. Let's not put you in kidney failure with methylene blue. The protein drinks are not good for you. I mean, if you think about what has protein in it that you don't chew, first of all? Okay. And then I probably have a protein drink every 2 weeks, honestly. The protein drinks have a lot of things hidden in them, right? That aren't good for you. So unless you're getting one that's super clean and not really flavored, and those ones actually have trouble mixing with water, that are super clean like that, and they don't taste the best. I can tell you from experience. The one I use, it takes a lot to get down. Hey, cupcake paper. So unless you're using a really clean protein like that, you shouldn't be using it. And then you need to mimic chewing while you're drinking it. I mean, Cynthia, it's okay. Your best protein sources, though, honestly, want to fix your eyes too while we're at it. Eat more seafood. Seafood to see. I still don't think you should be drinking your protein. There is no world in which you drink a cow for protein. You eat the beef, you eat fish, you eat, I mean, even legumes, you eat them. I mean, your protein literally, if I have a protein drink once in 2 weeks, it's a big deal. You shouldn't be getting most of your protein from a drink, period. Jillian Ray is saying, what causes hair loss from weight loss and how can I prevent it? And so Lori, if you have lots of muscle mass, you don't have to lose a bunch of muscle mass. But I would guess that you also have some hidden fat there. And that's speaking from experience. So I'm 5'7.5" too. I actually weigh 143 pounds today. I think I look great at this weight. I know based on body scans that I still have more fat in my midsection than I need. Period. End of story. My arms look great. My legs look great. My midsection is struggling a little bit. Jolene, usually it is from mineral depletion. And that's why also during a fast, you want to use a well-balanced electrolyte. Sardines or canned fish are fine. Beef and heart liver are fine. Patricia, I get up at 4:15 so that I can go swim at 5:15 with a group during the school year with my kid. So yeah, get up and eat something. Um, I mean, Sarah, you can, I guess. I mean, there are other ways to detox and bind things. Um, and Lori, that's not like, I'm not saying that you don't, I can't see you, right? So I have no idea what you look like. No, chicken liver is not too fatty. Okay. Yeah. So basically, the processed foods are not good for you. And if you're, so the protein powder that I use, I guess it'll heal all kinds of things, Angelica. Like Campo tea, no, especially if you're still living in mold, it doesn't do you any good. It's a waste of time. So this protocol, you're healing the cell. What happens when you heal the cell? T. Miranda, you're just keeping your contacts, your carbohydrates below 75. Yes, Lori, that's perfect. You should eat before you go to the gym. You should eat in the first 30 minutes you're awake. Shop girl, I would find somebody who does acupuncture and a red light therapy device. However, you do get red light therapy free every morning from the sun. And actually, red light therapy is throughout the day. It's just most intense in the morning. Okay. All right. I've got to run because I've got to go pick up a kiddo. If you want the links to the glucose monitoring stuff, the ketone monitoring stuff, the blood work, the how to schedule a call with me, reach out to me and I will get you that information. Okay. If you don't know how to reach out to me, find one of my videos that has the contact us button on it. Click on it. Brick Shemp, I love those. And hello, how are you? And when I send you the text message that says, how'd we meet? Why are you here? Respond, I want your links for the stuff about the webinar. Okay. I don't know that I'll do this one live again. Lives for me are complicated right now because life is busy in the evenings. So I don't know that I'll do this one live again. I just did this one because a lot of people were asking and there's so much information out there right now that is so conflicting. So, okay. Have a great night, you guys. I'll see you when I see